Turn. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Once again, folks, hello and welcome. This is going to be the second match in this best of 3 between HR and NaVi, and I am excited to get into it and see who's going to win. I believe we've got a draft going, but welcome to Starladder I-League Star Series Season 13. This is going to decide who gets to play in Group 1, which I think is... both groups really scary, but I think Group 1 is VP, OG, and... oh, maybe Vega. So yeah, that's a pretty strong team. Let's jump right into it, folks. Once again, I'm going to be joined by Scant the moment I actually unmute him. And you can see we've got some stuff underway. SF ban, I think that's valid. You don't want Radiant to get it. These are very different bans than last time, though.
So I got something confirmed. Sorry, I'll go back to the draft now. But I chatted to Dirk because I remember having this conversation with him when I cast with him. And he confirmed for me that YOLO Warrior is actually Ivan. The player whose nickname is spelled phonetically English, you'd say Uber, U-B-A-H, but okay. It's pronounced Ivan. And he's the other one. He and Avorst were both said to be standing in for HR a couple weeks ago, but YOLO Warrior is actually Ivan. It's not Avorst. So we can just like settle that once and for all. I don't know if there are people still disagreeing about that.
Wow. I know we were excited to see Avorst maybe, but not here it seems.
But there is a Beastmaster. And that's pretty exciting because it's a hero that some teams pick quite a lot, but you don't see it like in the mainstream that much at the moment. I mean, No-Tail's been playing it for OG all the time, and there's a couple other teams that like to pick it, whether it be the off lane, the mid lane. But with the starting picks of Bane Elemental and Beastmaster, that's a lot of single targets catch, just like focus, disable, control, and it's certainly something that I think they were lacking in the previous game.
Yeah, I also, the only thing that maybe confuses me a little bit here is why it's picked up so early. I feel like Slaughter was still in the pool. It could be that they're picking this over the Slaughter for their off lane, but it does feel like Beastmaster, as you said, since it's not so popular, not something people are so on the lookout for, you can get it a little bit later in your draft.
Yeah, I mean, these arguments are like eternal arguments when people are watching drafts, right? So like, why pick the hero that you could get later in your draft early on? Well, one reason is that you might not want to reveal any of the other heroes just yet. Another reason is you might not be sure which one you're going. So it's complicated in a draft. There's sort of competing reasons for picking heroes early on or later on. So I do agree that they probably would get the BM later, but I think there could be good reasons for them to pick it early as well. Darkseid Tusk though on the side of NaVi is just like I mean, last game I said Viper Baron is disgusting combo. This is another disgusting combination. Very possibly going to be the dual aggressive lane and one that's extremely difficult to deal with.
And I feel like regardless, I mean, NaVi could have gone for the Tusk Slaughter or the Tusk Doxia, both really strong openings. I wouldn't quite say they've gotten away with Motor in this draft, but they're off to a great start, and they have a lot of opportunities because they've picked up a Doxia. The Ember is banned out this time, which I think is a really great play from HellRaisers. Obviously, there's a lot of synergy there. But even without that, they've got plenty of other AoE heroes that they can decide to pick up, and I don't know, you can even go for something like the Lina mid here, just because she can get so many more good Light Striker Razor.
I liked Artel's choice of Darkseer here over the Slaughter because I think that Darkseer works really well against all these single focus heroes. You know, like the way that a team with Beastmaster and Bane want to fight is they want to pick off specific targets and then everyone focuses them down, but that kind of forces you to bunch, and then Darkseer blinks in and that's the end of you because you've been using these single target spells and suddenly you're all caught in the same AoE spells.
Yeah, it's rough. Words as an advantage. I feel like Beastmaster is such a great hero, and Vision in Dota, it received a bit of a nerf last patch, you can argue, or heroes that give vision. Beastmaster didn't. We saw clearly Bounty, I think, is on the forefront of everybody's minds, but also things like the Static Remnant from Storm Spirit, and then also the Thunderstrike on Disruptor receiving nerfs. Having these hawks up, being able to see a lot, it really gives you such a game advantage, and it's really hard because you're not going to frequently be able to, pick off these birds unless they're moving.
Yeah, I agree. Beastmaster Vision, one of the best ways to get vision, and vision is not something we can underestimate in the current meta game. What's interesting to me here is HellRaisers banning out Ditchera's Ember Spirit. So we had a conversation last game about whether he's comfortable with the hero, is he going to have a good game or not. I think he actually had a very good game, and I think that to give it to them in combination with the Darkseer is maybe just a bit too worrying, so I respect the ban. And actually the Juggernaut pick from HellRaisers here starts moving the draft in the direction of something quite similar to what they had last game, for me. Juggernaut Beastmaster together suggests that they might do a kind of group up and pseudo semi-death ball plan, which is what they went for last game, but at some point they just it stopped working, they lost their momentum, and those kinds of drafts typically fall apart when that happens. Now, this draft, if it goes that direction, might not, because a Juggernaut is not a Viper. Your Viper kind of loses its purpose if the game stops being what it wants it to be often, whereas a Juggernaut can also just become a very big carry. So yeah. I think it's maybe a bit more versatile.
Also, depending on how these fights go, if NaVi can make sure the illusions are out before the Juggernaut gets off that ult, there's going to be a lot of nice targets. At the same time, this Jug in lane, we've all seen it before, maybe he's up against that Darkseer, he manages to kill off the creep wave with a spin, that's another thing. Juggernaut maybe doesn't have the hard time that some other carries do, melee carries do, since he can just spin on top of the Ion Shell creep and still get all of that CS, and then he catches the Darkseer out, uses the Omni Slash. But they're going with Lich on NaVi, and this is a hero he was really popular when the patch dropped because of the changes to sacrifice, I think, and of course gives armor when Slaughter's in the meta. Really interested to see exactly how they're going to play him here, if he's just going to be that kind of maybe stacking for someone, Lich, how he's going to have game impact or lane impact.
Yeah, it's quite confusing actually, because you see Tusk Darkseer, you expect an aggressive dual lane, you see Lich, and you're like, Lich usually goes in that aggressive dual lane as well, but I mean, I can't really see an aggressive trial lane with these three heroes here. Possibly they run the aggressive dual lane with the Tusk and put the Lich mid as well, but then they have a solo safe lane. It could just be that the Tusk is just going to be a roaming support and not actually start in that off lane. But where does the Lich go then? Is it the Lich Darkseer? I don't really think that adding huge values to just the off lane Darkseer. So I actually don't know how NaVi are planning to set up their lanes right now.
It could be Lich, it could be roaming Tusk, and Lich is just there to make the Juggernaut's life even worse, denying about, you can deny almost a fourth of that farm, oh yes, I forget with the overlay, you all can't see any of this, but you can deny almost a fourth of the farm with just 2 levels in sacrifice. And they go with a Viper again on HellRaisers, not sure about that, and Phantom Lancer, yeah, Juggernaut's gonna have a hard time. I mean, I say this, but when it comes to team fights, I think he'll have a hard time getting off effective Omni Slashes just because there'll be a lot of illusions. If he catches people out, he should be fine.
Yeah, they literally asked for the PL pick. PL's really good against Viper. It's pretty good against Omni Slash. It's really good against Fiend's Grip or Raw. Because I mean, if PL gets, it's similar to the previous game actually. We said if Ember got to farm, that's it. If PL gets to farm, that's it. But here as well, I feel like early on, PL could cause a lot of trouble for them. And HellRaisers, yeah, they've got the Juggernaut as sort of a fallback this time, but I do feel like they're very much on the sort of 75 to 80% all in as they were in the last game.
Yeah, I'm still worried about the impact this Viper will have, and I wonder if it's just they're concerned about their mid winning against Dendi. We've seen that before, where people put a lot of emphasis on making sure they win their mid matchup. I feel like picking the Viper repeatedly may be too much.
I think, I mean, look, the Viper is the best frontliner in the kind of semi-death ball strategy. It kind of always has been, other than maybe the Shadow Fiend, but that's banned this game. And Disruptor actually adds something interesting there, because that's we're pushing at you as 5, we're going to go for your towers, and you need to be decisive, because if you sort of think, well, maybe we'll defend, actually no, we'll run, you're going to get glimpsed back and die. So HellRaisers is actually very well set up to do what they want to do. They kind of were last game as well, and so the question is, will they be able to keep the momentum that they hopefully get in the early game, or not? I think this game they might not even get the momentum, though. I think that actually NaVi have really good lane controllers, and so NaVi could just start ahead. And then we'll just see a very similar game to what I think was game 3 of the previous series, where one team really wanted to play very based on pick it up ever, and so it couldn't do that much.
Yeah, it does feel like what's the right way to say this? At least this time, HellRaisers are on, you know, they can potentially go late a game. And actually, I realize I have to quickly fix something, so please talk, Scant.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
There's
HellRaisers can go late to this game, but, I mean, yeah, sure, so they support spells, scale really well, Juggernaut can scale really well, even Viper can. But even though they can go later, I do think they don't want to be playing from behind. I think that there's an advantage to NaVi's lineup, which is that they can be aggressive early on. They can fight into them, they can contest the lanes, but they can also fight from behind. And I don't like HR's chances of coming back if they do get behind. So very interested to see how these lanes go. Sorry. Because if they go very favorably for NaVi, it's big trouble for HR.
On the other hand, I have faith in Juggernaut, because why not have Senseless Face? And Seneko, I actually haven't... No, I have seen this Tusk. I'm a big liar. But we'll be seeing how much impact he can make there. And it's going to be, as we just talked about, obviously, Darkseer is the offlaner. I've actually seen in recent history one of the European teams... Oh, who was it? It was one of the big names, too. They ran a support Darkseer, and it was... interesting. I feel like it's one of those things you can get away with when you're very, very high skill, just understanding how to use the hero. But not what we'll see here today. So exciting business. Let's quickly introduce the teams on HR.
Can you do that on your own? I'm just going to change my batteries. It'll take 2 seconds. Cool.
Go ahead. We've got Goddamn on the Disruptor. We've got Undershock on that Bane. We've got YOLO Warrior on the Juggernaut. Appa Ninja playing the Viper again. And Beastmaster all the way up in that top lane being played by Shocklo. Then we're going to have Axmo on the Darkseer for NaVi. Dendi, of course. Everybody knows who he is on the Lina. Oddstyle on that Lich. PL being played by Dicha Ra. And finally, Seneko on that Tusk. And it's really interesting. They now know about the lane rotations. I feel like Shocklo should be, I mean, I guess he's happier with this. He's a hero that should be able to be okay-ish with the Darkseer, but both of these offlaners are going to get a lot out of the lane.
It's really interesting to me that NaVi seems to be using the team secret approach of starting the one position hero in the off lane usually, and then just like switching around early on. And I mean, there's good reasoning behind this, right? If your 3 position hero gets a good start, they're usually a hero that's more important in terms of having an impact early on than the 1 position hero. But it's also sometimes just that the 1 position hero is less likely to die once you put them in that dangerous lane, because you've got like you're much more acutely aware of the risks to the hero. Also, sometimes the toxic lanes are usually aggressive dual lanes, not safe lanes.
Now we're seeing how toxic this bottom lane is. I mean, this Jug, I'm not sure how he's meant to get anything. He might be taking an Ice Blast to the face. A lot of his creeps are going to be denied by the Lich, of course, and Tusk is so tanky. It's not one of those heroes where you can just spin on him, because the Tusk, you just spin on him, he pops in the snowball.
Yeah, it's actually a horrible counter, actually. If you just start the snowball and then don't actually, like, commit it, you can counter pretty much the entire spin.
Yeah, since spin is only... 5 seconds, and then snowball. It got a slight reduction, but it's still 3 seconds. And then of course, when it's moving, you can maybe buy 4.5. So let's say that bottom lane, very sad for the Juggernaut. In mid, Viper's actually faced a lot of harassment. I feel like even though Corrosive Skin gives you inbuilt magic resistance, Dendi, you've just got so much more spam on Alina, and yeah, we're seeing more of it come out.
Yeah, I think this lane can go either way. It's typically, I'd expect both heroes to just get farm, which is what they're doing, but they're also both harassing each other. If either hero gets a gank from a teammate, that's going to be quite devastating. But
speaking of ganks, we've got someone in the snowball, not quite sure. It's going for Undershock, and suddenly, I think they're getting both of these supports, but Seneko, he manages to go down, so Undershock has gotten a kill, has that DD on him. He needs help. I don't think he can buy 10 more seconds. He has the Nightmare. Can he? Doesn't go for the self-deny. Even if he did, I think it's really rough there to try to get it. On the upside, YOLO Warrior did get a bunch of free farm there. So that's something.
Yeah, it is something, but I mean, we got to be constantly aware of the dynamic that HR's the team that wants to have a good start here and gain momentum and win off it. And and any small losses to them early on are actually, I think, more significant than the small losses to NaVi.
Yeah. So on top lane, as I think we expected, the lane's going to get quite pushed in. Shakla, I'm actually a bit surprised he's going with Inner Beast. I was maybe expecting some points in the Wild Axes to clear the waves that would be pushing in so hard, but just boring it up.
Yeah, it's I mean, the summons is not unusual. That's, I think, standard for this hero, but
Yes.
taking the aura early on instead of the axes is an interesting choice. He's gonna still get the axes now, so it will probably just be that value points in the aura. But the stack's gonna be to the advantage of Axmo almost certainly. Already gonna get that double Iron Shell.
Really surprised because I do feel like if he had the axes, he can contest this. He can stop having to be worried about the creeps pushing in while, he can attack a bit faster. Maybe if Axmo does end up being aggressive on him, I'm not sure it was worth it yet, especially since you have to imagine Axmo's not going to be super aggressive until he has a couple more points in the Ion Shell.
Well, the CS is actually pretty close, so I mean, you can't really fault him. I think Beastmaster's meant to be a bit behind, and he's only slightly behind, so I mean, I'm just gonna assume that he knows what he's doing for now.
Yeah, they put in the snowball, the one who is glimpsed, and as we talked about the spin being completely burned out, but then there's going to be the brain sap and the auto attacks enough. YOLO Warrior actually takes the nightmare. It is also transferred, not just turned off Seneko. He is too far away. Yeah, Glimpse wasn't leveled on Disruptor. I actually think that Seneko assumed the Glimpse was leveled, and that's why he put Lich in the snowball, trying to avoid the Glimpse back.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I didn't see the start of it, but that sounds like something that could happen.
Because it's felt like the Lich actually could have just walked away there since there was no glimpse. But either way, Altdown now comes mid, and Alpha Ninja's life sucks. He's gonna salve up, but it makes life a little easier for Dendi.
I wonder at which stage NaVi are gonna switch. I think that Gerard probably goes to the safe lane reasonably soon.
You think so?
Maybe as soon as he farms off his tower, I think that's maybe when it happens.
Yeah, he too. I mean, Beastmaster's a pain if you're up against him, but I think it's something because of the boars. The constant boar slow can actually be quite a pain to a hard carry. But you can kind of lance at the boars. You can maybe just auto attack them down depending on how things go. And especially if he has some support up there, then I think the Beastmaster gets much less painful for Dichira on that PL.
Yeah, and he'll be able to have supports with him if he wants it. And I think that at that point, Axmo will... Yeah, I mean, Axmo's already level 5, he's got the level 3 Iron Shell, he's got a Soul Ring, so he could be in the jungle, he could be in the offlane, he could be wherever he wants. Darkseid, no one's really going to be able to control him that easily at this stage. I mean, Glimpse is actually quite good against Darkseid if you have multiple heroes, but Disruptor's only level 2, and as you said, he doesn't even have a single point in Glimpse, never mind 2.
Yeah, we've been seeing this a lot lately. Kinetic Field being picked up really early. I do agree it's a fantastic spell. It's a lot harder to hit, though. It's much more skill-based than Glimpse, I guess you can argue, right? Like, Glimpse, you're going to get it off. You're going to put someone in a bad position as long as you actually counted for the 4 seconds. Kinetic Field, because of the amount of time it takes for it to actually form, you often don't cut off the people you want. So I'm really surprised to be seeing this so early, especially against someone like Seneko who has a snowball that can pulse right through.
It's maybe a little bit more versatile. Like, technically, it has some kind of defensive application. Like I spoke about in the previous game, we also saw Disruptor, where it's a hero that I think usually is only useful aggressively. So your team's chasing, fine, you glimpse one back, or Lightning is offensive skill. You don't really have that much to help if the enemy team's trying to make a kill on one of your allies. And Kinetic Field kind of provides that. It can be used as a barrier, like some kind of fissure or something to stop people from chasing your allies. So maybe that's the kind of like the tricky lane. There's a lot of fighting happening. We might need that defensive capability. That's the best explanation I can think of.
And it is something where if you can get up a good kinetic field, the spin does get easier, right? I just was a bit concerned because other than the Lich, you can doppelganger out of it as the PL unless you're super I mean, you have to click on the wrong spot and be super unlucky, I guess, to not doppelganger out of it. So there were just a couple ways to pass through. Looking around in mid, obviously the Viper actually having the highest CS in the game, or highest net worth in the game. Not too unsurprising, he's 28 and 10. You kind of expect that out of a Viper. But it's whether he can transfer that into anything, I think, and I would be interested to see whether he goes the same item build as last time, rushing that early mech, or not.
Radiant's
Oh, last time he didn't go for the mech, right?
Oh, we're gonna be seeing alt style going down. Yeah, I feel like you're right. I just said that, and then we were talking about how he didn't. So yeah, Viper.
Yeah. Last time he went for the drum, but I think this time he might go for the mech, although he's actually sending himself gloves, might be treads, or could actually be that Midas build, maybe. It is one way for Viper to keep up the farm, or Dandy's picked up a haste rune, he's got ulti, this is a dead
my
FNH.
goodness. Or is it? Oh, he actually misses the Dragon Slave. I mean, another auto attack should do it, so he gets it. And at the same time, Phantom Lancer goes down on the middle in the river. Okay. And with Phantom Lancer going down, Dendy trying to make something happen, but he has no mana, so I'm gonna wander away. I wouldn't be opposed to Viper going for the Midas. I feel like he is a hero who he also doesn't farm well. He's another one of those heroes similar to Husker. You don't get a lot of your farm from killing creeps. You get it from killing heroes. And if you're not killing heroes, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I was about to say, I'm surprised that PL keeps going back.
Oh, we have an engagement up top. Shacklow is dead. Guy, maybe gonna lose his board too? Animal cruelty? No, the ball gets away. Well played. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I'm just a bit surprised that Navi keeps sending Ditchera back to the bot lane. I guess they know at the moment that it's only against Juggernaut, but I think that 1v1 Juggernaut can maybe bully him a bit. I guess it's just they're just not prioritizing the PL right now, and that's perfectly fine. Like, maybe they don't feel like there's an urgent need to give him space.
And it's as you mentioned, I mean, PL, even if you give him a perfect lane, even if this PL had 80 CS at 8 minutes, right, he still won't have as much impact as the Darkseer with the mech or with a blink, which he can get up a lot faster than the PL can get. I mean, this PL could be bots, and then maybe casual Yasha for farming, we've seen that before, and then the Diffusal, which I think really starts to get the PL into fighting condition.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I understand the basic reasoning behind it. I just usually teams transition at some point, and I thought it would be sooner this. Well, there's gonna be a fight here. He's got DD rune, and Juggernaut can't be spinning into DD.
Oh gosh, they get the one more auto attack, but at the same time they have lost Tusk, and now Dietrich, he needs to get out. He actually used the doppelganger offensively there. We've got a buyback on Tusk, realizing somebody needs to help out Dietrich. Can they get more? Axmo is here, pops up the surge, but he's being body blocked by a lot of things. And he needs to chase ice shards. Oh, they catch them both in, and goodbye Shocklow. And he vacuums them back into the horrible ice shards, and well played, I have to say. Often early buybacks, not nearly as effective as that one. Well played, Seneko.
Yeah, very good buyback, very good justification for it. DD Rune also doing a lot of work, I have to say. Juggernaut spinning onto PL, usually PL's running away or dying, but turns it around, takes out the DD, just starts attacking, and Juggernaut's the one who has to run away there. Ends up dying anyway. Well, we're gonna see another pause. They're trying to fix their ping, I guess.
Are they like living together or something? Like, I'm just surprised that I mean, it could be that both of them, they could be at like the same cafe or something, but
yeah, they might just have the same internet service provider, or like, and then it's giving issues to the server. Or
I did not believe that NaVi was in like boot camp or anything right now, so I was just a bit surprised to see kind of three of them DC together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not. They might be at Internet Cafe. I'm pretty sure there isn't any kind of like official boot camp. I don't think they've even finalized the roster.
Yeah, they have three, technically even alt style, so I don't believe, or at least for this tournament, the roster that we were handed is Seneko, Dendi, and Dichira are kind of listed as official Navi, and then of course they're allowed to have 2 stand-ins, and the ones they have been playing, alt style has been there pretty consistently, and I've seen a few other people play as well. I think I've seen mostly Axmo, but I think there was somebody else maybe a week ago. So yeah, that is their official roster for this tournament, and I do not know any details on what we'll be seeing further.
It's interesting, the skill board of Artstar and Lich. It's quite an unusual one, actually. Maxing out the Nova with, I mean, what's normal is getting the 1 point in ice armor, but it's almost always not 3-1-1. Because if you only have that 1 point in sacrifice, you actually run out of mana reasonably fast. You aren't able to just like constantly spam people. But it does mean you have that higher burst potential when the fights happen. So yeah, I guess neither here nor there. Once he gets to level 6, he's gonna have the level 3 at Nova and the ulti, and that's gonna be insane burst damage. So there's certainly an argument both ways.
Yeah, it's also really interesting. I feel like going for less points in that Less points in the sacrifice also doesn't help against the Juggernaut. I mean, it's not like his farm is stellar. Its bottom lane has been rough for everybody involved down there, but more points in sacrifice, it does put it up to a 36-second cooldown, I believe, and that is almost a third of your farm, fourth of your farm denied, right? It gets rough. And then you kill the catapult! Come on, guys. You gotta get that catapult. Show who's boss. Yeah.
So as things stand in this game, I think Navi's pretty favored. I mean, they take an early lead in terms of golden XP. They're also the team with less pressure to take the early lead, as I was suggesting early on. I mean, there are tools at the disposal of HR to get some pickoffs. They're not as limited as the previous games. They're just like group up with Viper and push. But they gotta make those. They gotta find that space, find those opportunities. Otherwise, the game just kind of casually progresses the way it is. They're in big trouble, and as I say that, there's a 3-man smoke actually coming out of their team, and there's a drawing straight into the enemy jungle. There's no Fiend's Grip yet, but there is a roar.
This is actually really scary. I mean, they don't have a Hawk leading the charge to give them vision. They only see 2 on the bottom lane. You could be running headfirst into 3. I mean, you can assume maybe that you'll get the jump, but oh, Dendy. He is in their pointers, and they have Glimpse active, so Dendy in a lot of trouble. He hits the Light Strike array, but the Hawk is giving them vision. There should be a Glimpse back. They're actually backing out, realizing that there are going to be too many TPs, and there are 4 collapsing on them, 5 actually. Goddamn's going to be the first to fall. Warriors punch up on Shocklet as well. They throw out the Lich ulti just in case they needed more, and Beastmaster are gonna fall. So
yeah, they hang around too long. Like as soon as they see Dendy, it's either commit to killing Dendy or run away. You can't sort of like stand there looking at each other, get hit by the stun, consider keeping going, because you gotta know the enemy team's all coming at that point.
Yeah, I agree, and it's definitely something where I feel like, as you said, HR, they've realized they need to make something happen here. They need to make sure that they're ahead come mid-game, and they're just having trouble finding that lead or finding anywhere that they can get that. They're falling about 2,000 net worth and 3,000 experience behind now. Which, as you said, it shows in the levels. All of the heroes on NaVi have ults. We are severely lacking in them on HR. They're only level 4 on this Bane. I mean, no Fiend's Grip, trying to go for a gank, really ambitious.
I start to worry for HR.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah,
they got the bottom tower. It's something. You're trying to be positive.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, it only took 3 heroes. Didn't take all 5 of them. They do have this capacity to sort of group up and push. They've got that, and Beastmaster's building into Necros that'll help as well. They've also got the ability to make pickoffs. Viper's actually gonna run straight into Licher, and that might be unusual for a pickoff, but a pickoff nonetheless.
Yeah, they've got alt style dead to rights. There's a lot of TPs coming in though. Doxia does surge himself up. Chocolate may just take a Laguna Blade if Dendy can get in range. Viper Strike out onto Axmo. Actually, the Ice Shards though, they actually push Axmo away a little bit. Dendy, oh, the nice silence coming out, and now he can't go for that. But there are a lot of heroes here, including PL trying to come in on the backlines. He has no mana. Warriors punch up on YOLO Warrior. There's going to be a primal roll onto one of the illusions from Shocklo. They actually glimpse back the correct one. Will the illusions do enough damage? It looks like Shocklo is out of this engagement. All right, and now everybody seems to be fine.
Yeah, when the dust settles, it's just the original kill and everyone else lives. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised Beastmaster didn't take a tumble, but well played from everybody involved, kind of zoning. And I don't think we actually saw the Omni Slash come out, and I have to say I really like this. Omni Slash level 1 is rather underwhelming, I guess is the way we'll see that. So making sure that you can, I mean, not using it unless for sure you're getting the kill, and then maybe waiting for level 2 if you're going to try to go ham on multiple heroes, because only 3 slashes, and if there are 3 heroes around, you're gonna have a bad time and probably end up next to one of those heroes who can then damage you in return. Yeah,
he'd rather use the Omni Slash when there's a Fiend's Grip or a Roar, or when there's just one hero that can't get away. I think actually that the Darkseer's Vacuum might have saved the Beastmaster at the start of that fight, pulling him like away from Dandy actually. It's awkward, it's counterintuitive, but because he tried to vacuum in a way that he might get both heroes, but he actually only got the one, and the one he got pulled away from the Lina.
And I think that Dendy there, I'm not sure if the Laguna Blade would have done enough damage, but I'm pretty sure that Laguna Blade plus the bonus attack speed from Fiery Soul, because she would have been in range, would have been fine. So, we've got TP out from Lich, seeing Dendi immediately backing up, and Dendi just happens to have a smoke. Gonna realize that there's nothing there. I mean, we've got an equal tower game. We've already talked about how, oh, okay, HR with that one little engagement, and I guess they've been getting more out of the map for the last few shakes of a lamb's tail. They're actually pulling the net worth back in their favor. The experience still heavily in NaVi's favor, though.
Yeah, and the dynamic of the game kind of favors NaVi, I would say, because they've not really been pressured that much, and they definitely should be the favored team as the game goes later, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we have another one of those big rotations coming out, and YOLO Warrior, if he can find one alone, I think he'll be happy. He needs to make sure he does not get the creeps as well. So he spins, gonna do some good work. NaVi Artstar, he's just gonna TP away, not fast enough. Axes helping out there. Also, they had the glimpse just in case, since that issues a stop command. It would have stopped his TP.
Yeah, so this is going to be the tower trade, probably. If it is a tower trade, it's again, just like last game, where I think tower trades are just far too favorable for NaVi. Because HR, when they push towers, NaVi can't do that much about it, but if NaVi's getting 1-for-1 every time, I don't know, maybe NaVi won't finish this tower, then he's actually moving away. He had been hiding at the bot lane, hoping for one hero to rotate in, but didn't happen.
Top tower.
So we're gonna return, just have to take the tower instead of taking some heroes' lives. They did get it very fast on HR, and I think that they, from the looks of it, are gonna continue their push, not returning back. Beastmaster also has the Necromonicon level 1. It does add, I mean, he also has that 1 point in Inner Beast. There's a lot of attack speed coming out from HR.
It's very good that Ditera goes for that drum and not like, say, the fast travels, recognizing he needs to be able to like do things now, because this is the one big risk in this game, that HR just run away with it in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes.
We have a vacuum back onto Goddamn. He could set up a pretty nice kinetic field, I think, kind of stop this aggression, but doesn't go for it, and he's actually getting pretty low. They've surged up, but a beautiful kinetic field, static storm. How did he land that? The Omni Slash comes out, doesn't do as much as we were talking about, but there is a lot of follow-up. They're gonna throw out the Lich ulti. It doesn't bounce to anyone, and now Dendi is Fiend scripted up Alpha Ninja. We were worried. He's doing good work, and the illusions just kind of tickling him, and holy Hannah, all of that I think is on the hands of Goddamn.
Yeah, totally agree. 2 fights in a row as well, like with the amazing static storm kinetic field. Like, it's a really difficult thing to do. It's not like a black hole or echo slam, or like to catch multiple heroes, especially because of the form time of the kinetic field. Like, sure, you can usually catch people with the initial static storm and they jump out of it, but 3 heroes were caught in the field with a static storm in them, and that's definitely the fight winner.
And just so folks know, it's 1.2 second delay on that form time. That is more than enough for most people to wander out. And Goddamn just did a really good job of it. And I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. And it does help them a lot as well. It put them in a firm gold lead. And as you said, if they can snowball, take down these towers, more points in Necronomicon units or higher levels, they're getting rolling.
So that's... We were asking early, why did Goddamn go for the early points in kinetic field? It's probably just because he's like the best kinetic fielder in the world. He's just like an expert at that skill, because that... I mean, my mind's a little bit blown by that, to be honest. This is not the kind of play you expect to see from Disruptor. Usually Disruptor combines his ulti with another hero's disable to start with, or with the glimpse to start with. Really well done.
Doing good work. Unfortunately misses the deny. He actually TP's top, almost gets it, but didn't draw the aggro of one of the ranged creeps. And also I want to take a look around. They didn't take on HR the opportunity, the deep smoke, to actually place any wards either of the times. So they actually have no wards on the vision, which I imagine will be rectified shortly. While we do see a couple very defensive wards coming out of NaVi, they don't want to get picked up in their jungle again, I think is what they're saying.
Look at HR's tier 1 mid. It's on 3 HP and they like seem to deliberately not be denying it. Like almost hoping someone will come try finish it off.
They could be waiting for a bait.
Cancelling his attack.
Right, it's entirely possible that they're waiting for a bait here.
Oh. Yeah, they like... I think they probably were, and eventually they're like, okay, wasted too much time. Like, let's just deny it. Because if a hero thinks, well, it's on 1 hit, I'm just gonna sneak up there and last hit it, they're definitely dead. Here comes the smoke out of NaVi. They want to be on the offensive for a change.
Yep, and I think they're totally right. Unfortunately, it's going to get broken by the Juggernaut. He could have gone for a TP out there. He's still wondering, do they have catch? They're going to see him with the ice shards. Really well played. And now he doesn't have a way out of it. Warriors Punch for more initiation, and they got him dead to rights. So, unfortunately, I think the only play he had there was to kind of spin, try to hide, and TP. Of course, Warriors Punch can stop that, even in spin, but you weren't walking away from that one.
Yeah, it's mostly just the ice shards, getting the ice shards right at the start, then after that it's probably going to be a kill.
Now, Dendi is halfway towards his Aghanim Scepter, and Seneko is also, I'm not sure whether he's the type of Tusk who's going to be going for that Blink Dagger next. Some also go for Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, actually.
I think Glimmer's actually really great this game because of these static storms that have been on point.
He's actually just started a medallion, so
Oh.
I guess that's where he's going. They want to be able to get that fast rush if possible. And also probably going to just build into Solar Crest, which is very useful against the enemy.
Yeah, but looks like Seneko, as much as he might want that false medallion Fiend's Grip, it's going to delay his gold a lot, and Seneko going down slowly but surely. Yeah, oh, he did finish it in the base? Well played.
Yeah.
Good buyout, friend. Also, Guardian Greaves are finished on Doxia, so this is going to help a lot, I feel. Obviously, there's a couple of things it can purge off, but I think mainly just the aura. I mean, this is a scary team to play into. Shaklo being oh my goodness, another kinetic field static storm. Dendi TP'd right into that one though, and he's gonna go down. And I think if they put their minions on the tower, Shaklo could get something done here. He actually uses the Primal Roar onto Odd Style. Do they have the damage with the Ode? I think they do. They get the kill. This tower is in deny range though. The boar not gonna be able to kill it off. Die too. Oh, that's unfortunate. Please don't die, goddamn. We love you, but no, it looks like he is going down, as you mentioned. And yeah, oh, Viper coming in, Alpha Ninja. There's going to be the jump forwards. That's what we talked about. You can't hide in that kinetic field so easily. The glimpse off to the side, but goddamn, still too many illusions. And with the jump forwards from the Dogs here now, there's going to be more fighting. They have to make sure they move around. If they can find the real one, oh goodness, he's the one with the Ion Shell on him. I want to see both of these team fights, and oh, I'm not sure Undershock can get it. Viper does fall on one side, and Dichira, they place a ward looking for more, but Undershock going to lose the ward. Not gonna lose his life, but really painful, because if he could have gotten Dichira, I think that almost evens things up.
Yeah, but as it happens, Dichira very close to death multiple times in that fight, makes it out alive, and he has 3,000 gold as well, so he could buy most of it at Fusel Blade now if he wanted to. I'm waiting to see if he decides to go travels. I think that just like having the entire Diffusal Blade ready soon is almost game winning. So, oh no, he goes for the travels.
I agree with you on the Diffusal. I think it has so much team fight impact. If you can throw it on Disruptor in the back lines, you can really get rid of his mana quickly and make it impossible for him to land these great kinetic storms, kinetic field combos. But at the same time, if they feel comfortable that they can get Roshan on him and buy enough time for them to get the Diffusal anyway, and oh goodness, we're seeing HR, they're all trying to come in. Do they have a smoke? They all smoked up, but I'm pretty sure both teams know exactly what is going on. And if
this series, the rush fights have been so wow.
Yeah,
so
we're going to be seeing them opening up. We've got the Lich ulti. It's bouncing to a lot of creeps. There's going to be a nice Omni Slash coming out, but in the snowball is the rest of them. It's going to be rolling onto Undershock. At least one down. Seneko maybe following. They get the Tusk. They get the Lich. Are they just going to back out of this team fight? I think they could. The Roshan is pretty low, but I am worried. Whoever's in the pit... Actually, I mean... The wall... Okay, the wall's back up, but he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. This is actually pretty hard for Axmo to initiate here, I think, without the Blink Dagger, but he's going for it. Is there going to be a vacuum onto the high ground? Instead, he's going to be caught out. He does get two up there, but Alpha Ninja is fine attacking you from the high ground. That doesn't bother him one bit. So,
he was like 2 seconds away from his Greaves. Might have actually lived if he had them.
Yeah, I don't think they can do Roshan so easily now, especially not with both Dendi and Dichira being a real pain. Keep an eye on it, and Undershock and Alpha Ninja, they're not TPing out. There we go, one on Viper. Bane doesn't have one, so he's going to have to buy out and probably die.
Well, his team is actually still very nearby, so this could be actually a trap. If NaVi try going without their Darkseer, they could just all die again.
Yeah, it could be a really nice Fiend's Grip from the high ground play. Light Strike Array doesn't manage to hit. Goddamn is walking away in alt style. They glimpse him back, not very far, but with the spin, he's going down. No Lich ulti going to be in that team fight. And with the wall burned, we see the TP from Bane coming out. He wants to be on the deck, and we have a DD. Viper's going to get his hands on that. And so suddenly, I think that NaVi... I mean, they still want to contest it, but this team fight getting harder and harder for them.
It's funny, we were talking about how like travels is fine because they're gonna get rushed anyway, he's gonna get diff blade fast, but turns out they can't win the fight, they can't get the rush, they might actually lose the rush at this rate. And I do think if he had the diff blades, it might be a different story.
I agree. At the same time, it looks like HL maybe not wanting to fight. They're actually knocked outside by this ice shards, but the bird sees all. And we've had Disruptor, TP away, goddamn now walking back, he just wanted to make sure they weren't taking damage on their top tier 2. And NaVi also backing out, so nobody gets the Roshan. And PL...
This happened last game, right? They were
Yeah.
like posturing at each other so much at the rush birds, and usually no one would get it. It's a very, very interesting dynamic between these teams. Like, after a certain amount of aggression, both of them just accept, okay, we're not willing to give up any more for this, we'll just leave.
I think this is unfortunate for HR though, because they had a window there where the wall was down, you know, the Lich was dead for a few seconds, and I feel like that is when their team fight is superior on HR, not having to deal with these things. Now they're right back in the thick of it. They have to get a pick off before they can potentially take Roshan, and NaVi is getting closer to that Blink Dagger on the Doxy, which I think could potentially change things around, because if Axmo jumps on their back lines, without the Disruptor, without the Bane, the team fight from HR gets really thin.
And there's a Ags coming up for Dandy right now, which is actually really, really big. Juggernaut spinning, not actually safe. Viper's corrosive skin, not actually safe. Like, people could be blown up much more easily than before. Although it looks like Dandy might be the one running into trouble. Oh,
The
they
smoke
get
won't
run
break, and they might not realize they're in the pit, and if they come down, this will be seen, but they have Hawks. Oh, they're actually using the Hawk over here, and now here they come on the lineup. We've got Dichero leading the charge. He began with a Doppelganger, a Static Storm, finally a bad one coming out. They've got nobody in this, and now they may need to actually back out. The wall is down, the vacuum doesn't hit anyone either, so that spell is down for the, like, 36 seconds or whatever that cooldown is, 28 these days. I think maybe both teams want to disengage, but we've got Viper, he's caught in a bad position. They have Primal Roar still on Sharklow. They've got the Omni Slash, it's bouncing around to no one pretty much. Seneko, he's gonna be taking a lot of damage as he gets Fiend's Grip. DJ Raw is still around though. Doppelganger's to the low ground. Looks like he's going to be able to get away. Dendy has that Laguna Blade, just pops the Juggernaut. And I think both teams, they probably want to back out on this, but maybe... No, not able to catch out on Dendy. They might be able to catch out Art Style here with the axes on the backswing. They do, so definitely a team fight in favor of HL, but both sides losing their hard carry and really messy again. Big ultimates whiffing for the first time. Dire's Courier goes down. They got the glimpse back onto Axmo. A really nice kinetic field coming out. And around on the other side, we got Aftershock. Is he just going to put the Nightmare there? That's going to waste all the time coming out from the Surge. Not quite all of it, actually. And Shocklow just going to wander away. Oh, okay. I think Undershock's fine, though. So
this is some great Dota to watch. This is, I mean, it's messy, but it's because there's this kind of like weird, unstable equilibrium where each team keeps trying to like one up what the next one's gonna do, or Ben's.
He
No
might
Laguna
be
yet.
fine because yeah, there's no Laguna. So again, a little bit of an ambitious play, but definitely something where with Fiery Soul, can they catch out Lena here? Dendy again caught in the kinetic field. They don't manage to kill off the creep in time, but there's another Static Storm making up for the last one. Unfortunately, the kinetic field was gone, and Dichero, he's going to wander away. They should be able to get the nice bounty off of the ice shards, but as you said, good Dota. Messy Dota, good Dota. I like it. And we're also getting a pleasant game that actually has a lot of kills, I have to say.
Yeah, and the movements are, what I'm talking about is, it seems like each time both teams are kind of like, they're gonna do this, so we'll do that. But both teams are doing it at the same time, and so like, they end up like, right starts never, especially around that secret shop there, where they sort of smoked past each other, then both teams missed all their main AoE because of the way they approached each other. Unusual, I think, to say the least.
I also wanted to point out, I noticed in the team fight that the courier went down, didn't check it until just now. Axmo had his Blink Dagger on that. Really, I mean, it's a really big pickup, and it's something which could have allowed NaVi to play a little bit more aggressively, because as we talked about, blinking on the back lines, but just unable to. And maybe part of why these last few team fights haven't gone in NaVi's favor. The net worth chart is only about 4,000 gold in HRs, and we've all seen one team fight can easily swing it more than that. But this game, it's close. It's pretty exciting. I'm enjoying it.
Dichero still doesn't have his Diffusal Blade. I don't know if he had some part of it. Did he have anything on the career?
No, he didn't. It was just the Blink Dagger, and I think this is just that he did earn himself a death there, and there hasn't been much farming because there's been a lot of posturing around heroes not hitting creeps.
Yeah, but that's, again, I mean, it's always an awkward position against. I don't want to say that I know better than him. I almost certainly don't. But watching from like a bird's eye view, it does feel like, had he just gone for the diff play, like he hasn't. I don't know if he's even used the boots of travel since he bought them. Maybe once. But
he has botsed into some fights, and we see in top lane Tusk is going to go down. They actually commit the Static Storm for that, so they immediately ping out Roshan again, saying, "Hey, there's no Static Storm. Maybe we can do this." He's botsed into a couple of these fights, but
most of the fights have been sort of in the same area of the map, and but yeah, it's gonna be okay now. He's gonna finish the whole diff blade, and think still ultimately the game looking quite good for NaVi. I think Lena's going to be a major threat, and PL's going to be an even more major threat the later the game goes. And I don't really feel the same about Juggernaut or Viper.
I definitely
There's
feel like
so much to deal
Viper,
with them.
he can scale, but this game, his Omni Slash, I mean, last team fight, his Omni Slash 8, I think like 15 PL illusions, that was about it. So, it's rough. But Roshan, still a point of contention on the map. He has had an opportunity to heal all the way back up, looking very healthy. How did what? Oh gosh, Undershock has a casual BKB.
Yeah.
And it just happens. Sometimes you get it. Dendy in a lot of trouble. Will he be able to get out? No, they managed to make it latch. They still need to actually damage him down. He has a lot of armor right now, below 20% health. But the Hawk tanks the Lich ulti. That was ridiculous. Undershock's gonna go down now because as we talked about the Diffusal Blade, it's online.
Wow, BKB ban, but I mean maybe a bit too excited about the fact that he has a BKB because sure he caught out Dandy, but the backups actually do all the damage to kill Dandy. He wasn't there, and Fiend's Group's not going to do the trick on its own.
And this again, another thing that might just open up potentially Roshan. We've got everybody and their mother checking this Roshan pit constantly, but this allows DTR, just because of where the wave was pushed up to, he can farm a little bit. And while it's Necronomicon level 3, just picked up on the Beast Monster, I'm not sure that it's enough to deal with all of this, especially when an illusion might kill it, and then you don't even get that lost will damage, I think it's called.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think it is a bit strange that again, for the second game in a row, we see Alpha Ninja, Viper just not go for the mech at all. I alluded to earlier that there's arguments against it, like it's not as good as it used to be, the cooldown's very long. But I do feel like when you're having all these sort of 5v5 situations, your team doesn't have a mech, the other team has entire Guardian Greaves. I think that's a really big deal. I think it was, I'm not sure who, I think it might have been S4. Some really good Viper player said a couple of months ago that it's like you can't play Viper without mech, it's just like a part of the main reason you pick the hero. And certainly Miracle has been like the Viper to watch recently, has been rushing it, sometimes even before boots. So I'm kind of on the lookout for these fights like where a mech would have made a big difference.
Radiant's top 10.
I also want to point out, we were talking about how rich the Bane is. This Disruptor has an Aghanim Scepter.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is the right word, right? These supports are so rich, and it's huge. Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor. The Phantom Lancer is going to be in a lot of trouble. Dendy's in a lot of trouble. He can't Yules and burn the duration. You can't... Darkseer doesn't have an opportunity to heal people up if he's caught. I'm not sure they'll be able to get it. Oh, and speaking of Dendy, goes in, aggressively uses that Yules. Aftershock has... Oh no, the Static Storm completely whiffing and nobody going in it. They have to get out, and another BKB, a long one, used by Undershock.
You know, I'm so happy I didn't say anything because I was about to say we should change the emphasis to this Disruptor as an Aghanim Scepter because he's been so good with his ulti in field, but the last two they just haven't been that good. And if he was getting the ones that he got so early in the game with an Aghanims, it would be like fight over as soon as that happens, but last two Static Storm Kinetic Field combos just not hitting the spot at all.
So we're going to be seeing Dichara getting his farm on. He had 3k gold a little while ago. No. Also, the Juggernaut has a lot of money. Oh, he might be in a lot of trouble as well. As we talked about, he can no longer just spin out of danger, but he's going to need to stop that stun from hitting him. There's still the Walrus Punch. It connects. There's going to be a stun, but no, Static Storm is available here. Let's see what they can do around. Oh, we can see the vacuum back. Not quite enough. YOLO Warrior. If he has enough time to heal back up on the side of this team fight, maybe they can re-engage. No ults were used, and the Static Storm only on cooldown for 21 more seconds, but this is what we were talking about, and I wouldn't be surprised if Juggernaut just buys a full Scotty. I don't know what he bought. It's on the courier. No, he's going for a Battle Fury.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, Illusion Clear.
Yeah, it's Illusion Clear. It's also going back to the farm. It's like, I think recognition that the way this game's going, because the fights are not dictating the game, it's gonna be it could be a bit more drawn out game. So I think it's the right choice, like partly to clear the illusions, but also just he needs to be able to keep up.
Yeah, and I really
He's gonna run
agree
into. Did they just get Rush?
Yeah, I think they just get Roche. I mean, there were too many fights going on around. I don't think anybody wants to fight into that Static Storm, etc. Also, it's really rough here. I feel like if you're the Juggernaut, you need so many things. How do you deal with a PL effectively? Leave is one way, you're going to at least get rid of those illusions, but you're suddenly going to have no mana, and you just really need to make sure. I mean, Scotty tanks up, gives you some damage, maybe not as much damage. I'm trying to think of a different option that you could really go. I mean, I think a long time ago, maybe Jugs went for Abyssal or something, the Basher build, but
yeah,
it doesn't feel great here.
They still get abyssals. I mean, it could be his next item. You're right. It doesn't really feel like the item to me, but it's mostly like he's right at the top there with appeal and the net worth.
Oh, there's gonna be a vacuum. Oh, the Laguna Blade just eats through him.
Yeah, and that's because they gave Viper the Aegis, and all of a sudden Juggernaut's like, hey man, why couldn't I have the Aegis?
Yeah, it's really rough here. I mean, looking hard for HR. They do manage to get off a nice static storm. Dendy not able to use his Yules here. He's gonna... Oh, he's in the snowball! What a save. He should eventually go down, but now he's getting the Yules off the Lich ulti. It is bouncing. There's a Fiend's Grip onto Seneko. They still... Where is Dendy? He managed to go down finally, and holy Hannah, but goddamn will pay for his insolence, and I don't think Undershock and Ninja have a good way to deal with this PL. He is just taking over this game, and Undershock is just gonna give him the nightmare and wander away.
You should die again.
Yeah. I mean, can Undershock do anything? They even dropped the wall on Ninja. Very unfortunate. He's gonna go down.
So what happened to Dandy in that fight is pretty incredible. I was watching. The snowball plus the self-fuels immediately after meant that there's enough time for him to blink out. He still managed to die, unfortunately, because he turned to cast the spell, but that's actually a really nice combo they have in their strategy. Anytime
even
the top
just
puts
the
Dandy,
snowball should do it.
That could be enough. Yeah. Then that requires him to kind of sit on it for quite a while.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's max snowball launch time does make it so that you can get the blink off, but obviously snowball plus Yules. Yules is just shy of blink dagger damage time since you can blink.
So that's a guarantee.
And Dendy's going for, I'm assuming, a BKB. I mean, as long as he's not on the static storm, I think this is golden.
Yeah, there's a lot of like annoying spell stuff happening. So why not? I mean, I don't think there's another Ogre Club item he could be buying.
You never know. Casual? No, it's not. There's no, I think, reason to get a Heaven's Halberd against the lineup on HR.
It could be a very obscure start to Silver Edge. I mean, Lena sometimes like to get Shadow Blade, but I don't think so. Not at this stage in the game. Not against the Necro 3.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's any reason to do it for that. Now, we're going to be seeing goddamn he is wandering around in that smoke. For HR, it feels like their game plan is so hard to execute now. They're behind. They've also, I mean, kind of not mentioning this, they're going on to Ninja Laguna Blade. He does pop that ult. They can still Laguna Blade him away, though Dendy didn't have enough mana for the ult. The Lich ult is bouncing as well, and Dieter are able to doppel out of this. Oh gosh, Shocklow, is he going to go down to the Lich ult? Not quite, and now Dieter comes back in, gets spun on, and they catch the Lina on the other side. I don't know if you caught how the Lina went down, but I did not. It looks like Fiend's Grip was expended. Just as I was saying, I think that HR have a really hard time to execute. They get 2 huge kills.
Yeah, and that's, I think, NaVi being a little bit cocky, to be honest. Like, thinking we're in the lead now, we can do what we want, but Viper is still, I mean, say what you want about his item build, Viper is just never the hero that you can't see that many team, let's go on Viper is a good idea. It's just not. And they start with, I think they led with the Laguna Blade, is that right?
No, she just didn't have mana.
Oh,
She used too many spells, I guess just the Yules plus her other toolkit. She was already at half mana, didn't have enough mana. And they get themselves an easy Rax Axmo. He's trying to use a vacuum wall combo, only pulls the Bane through. And finally, YOLO Warrior might actually be able to get out of one of these fights. And Undershock just popping that BKB, just Bane with a BKB thing. So Neko looking like he's going to go down. Ninja will pay eventually, but if they also catch out Axmo, this is devastating. I think they rightly realized though in HR that overextending is going to really punish them. Not able to get anything off on goddamn to stop that TP. Okay. I feel like, as you said, maybe just overconfidence, because I really thought NaVi was in a great position with all the spells they have up to take a team fight.
Yeah, but yes, the way they're gonna win a team fight is not to like everyone cast your spells on Viper at the start of the fight. That's like the dream fight for HR. It's why HR wanted that game plan of like, let's group up and push, stand behind Viper, force them to target Viper, and NaVi just did them a favor there. I think that NaVi's vision didn't show that the Viper had teammates with him, so they thought, okay, this is fine, it's just a Viper on his own, we'll just make a free kill.
Also, as you talk about, because the Viper takes so long to kill, I think his teammates were down there, and it took them so long to kill the Viper, especially since Dendy opened with the Yules. It was like 5 seconds. Your team's gonna get there.
Yeah, it's just, I just think it's the exact wrong way for the fight to start for them. And then Ditchera got identified, the real one, very quickly. He got glimpsed back, he went down, and after that, I mean, the way that they want to win fights is actually by Ditchera coming in a bit late, I think. And just like, That's usually where PLs excel. When the fight starts and then the PL comes in and you're already trying to deal with other things and then there's all these illusions and you don't know what to do. But if you can focus on the Phantom Lancer because the Lena's already running away at the start of the fight, I mean, you're good.
We've also got a Blink Dagger up on Disruptor, so, you know, just in case you need more help landing Kinetic Field or maybe getting off a good glimpse, Disruptor's got the positioning tools for that. And Undershock also has an Aghanim Scepter. I was kind of wondering if that's what the BKB was leading up into. This means you cannot stop the Bane... Oh, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. You cannot stop the Bane from Fiend's Gripping, except I believe Walrus Punch actually would, but then Nightmare the Tusk, or am I crazy? Like, does that work?
I don't actually know. I mean, this is like such a rare hero to see Aghanim Scepter on that, like, I've never seen the interaction. Like, does he get Nightmare before the hit actually happens, or once he gets hit?
He might get Nightmare before the hit. I'm not sure. Folks, tweet it at us. You can see.
It actually says on the tooltip that if an enemy tries to attack Bane, that's why I think it might actually Nightmare him before.
Then he's literally unstoppable.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. You can just pick a target and then say, hey guys, I'm holding this target for, what's the increase? Yeah, 7 seconds, and if his team can't kill that person in 7 seconds, well, you know, Bane's done his job.
Yeah, so really well done there, picking that up. Kind of interesting item builds we're much more used to, I feel like, on the Bane seeing the Glimmer Cape. Maybe a 4-star, smaller items, but this Bane is fat. He's a happy cat. He's only 2k gold behind Dendi.
But also,
really
by the
surprising.
way, so the other interesting thing about Bane Aghanims, I mean, it's again, I don't know, it's really unusual build. You don't see it very often, but it increases the mana drain, which is not usually spoken about on the skill. But if it's a 7 seconds, 10% mana drain, that's actually, if you do that to someone at the start of the fight, most then is gone, even if they didn't die. So it's going to be very significant. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, he can't Laguna Blade.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is huge. The Mana Drain, of course, I don't believe... Does the Mana Drain happen if you're BKB'd?
No, it won't.
Yeah, so if Dendi can, like, get his BKB that he doesn't have yet, so I'm speaking hypotheticals, if he can get the BKB off first, he'll be okay to Laguna Blade, but if they haven't killed him in that time, it's...
Ultimately, this is all like a side discussion, right? Because you expect that if someone's Fiend's Grip for 7 seconds, they're dying. But it's interesting for us to theory craft this stuff anyway.
Yeah, very exciting. And YOLO Warrior, he's going for the Basher, maybe eventually an Abyssal Blade. It's a bit rough here just because you got to find the right PL, but he can also just use it again on Dendi. Okay, he's trying to backdoor that. The boss helping him out. Yep. Very cute up there. He finally gets it, but they're also going to be working on bottom, and they get them around the same time. So they're now trying to siege up high ground, and they don't have any sort of thing. How long? Okay, Aegis is actually a slightly shorter than average spawn time, so they might just put some pressure on this tier 3 and then back to Roshan.
It's all about the Darkseer here. Darkseer can make or break this fight, I think. If there is a 5v5 fight, I don't think there's any other hero on the side of NaVi that could win them in the fights, but Darkseer very definitely can.
Yeah, he's also picked up a Ghost Scepter, and I have to say I really like this. Obviously, Omni slash all physical damage, as is most of what Viper's going to be throwing at you that actually damages you is his auto attacks, so you can deal with those somewhat reliably. And stuff like, I guess you might get killed by the bull. It's that stage in the game. But Beastmaster, he's gone for a Vlad's. I feel like we see sometimes Shivas coming out of Beastmasters. Do you think that's a decent pickup here a bit later? I mean, he's also very farmed. Kind of surprised.
Sure, yeah. If he gets enough gold, Shivas could be nice. But Vlad's definitely very good value at this stage in the game. It's something his team wants to have. And he's probably he was the best position to buy it because Pain Elemental wants to buy an Aghanim Scepter.
I'm still confused as to how this exactly happened.
I actually just want to see Bane ulti someone and like all 4 other heroes just go and attack Bane just to see the mass nightmare. I just think it'll be beautiful.
He's also got, I mean, okay, this is how it happened. This Bane is 8, 3, and 10. I mean, he's kind of snuck up on it. Undershock has also been doing a really good job of not dying, which I'm really impressed by. There's been a number of team fights where his team has lost them. He just walks away, and I think that's actually the hallmark of a great player. Sometimes you have to abandon your teammates. And Aftershock, he's got an invis. He might just be able to initiate. He goes for it. There's that BKB Fiend's Grip. No one can stop him. They also, on Dendi, get the silence up. There's going to be a Primal Roar onto Deecha Ra. He is being held in place, and now so many particles. My team fight's lagging, but it looks like a lot of the people are actually going down on HL, but they still have the Juggernaut. Juggernaut. Can he clear these illusions fast enough? But DJ Raw has backup. Alpha Ninja is trying to kill off Axmo, but it looks like HR have taken a really unfortunate team fight, and they're all going to go down.
Yeah, there's so much going on there, it's difficult to tell, but, I mean, Ben catches Darkseer, which is by far the best hero to catch.
Oh no. He was trying to save the gem. Yeah, he was trying to, I think it's NaVi's gem, I want to say. No, oh no.
Dire's middle tower is under.
He has to
place. Yeah, no, he knows it's there. That's why he placed a ward. I think he was hoping, but the wards won't combine because I think one is from a different party. So, and this is Goddamn's gem. I didn't realize that Goddamn had purchased one up. This is losing Roshan. Maybe even a Rax.
Start of the fight, Ben Fiend's Grip Darkseer, and I do think that's like the most important hero to Fiend's Grip because he's the one that wins the fights in the end. But I didn't get to see, you know, what stopped Viper and Juggernaut from killing the Darkseer with the Fiend's Grip, because the Fiend's Grip, I think, channeled the full time, 7 seconds on Darkseer.
I think there were just mass PL illusions over here, and they were a little bit distracted by them. Additionally, let me check if I'm thinking about this right. I feel like Chain Frost is now the only thing in this game that can stop the Fiend's Grip, because I feel like the mini stun does his magic immunity. I think.
Yeah, so that's it does, definitely does. So that's probably, maybe it wasn't the full 7 seconds, maybe it was just like 3 or 4 seconds. That would explain a lot, because it didn't feel like 7 seconds to me, but I didn't notice something cancel it. But the Chain Frost is misleading in that way because it cancels it not on impact, but like as you cast.
Yeah.
So you could be looking at Ben and be like, hey, why's ulti stop?
Feature on out, very happy camper. He's got Scotty, Diffusal, Aegis, all great things, and this tier 2 is falling to NaVi, and maybe even more. HR, I mean, it's still an even game, but I feel like a PL much easier for him to take over the game than a Juggernaut.
It's really interesting how Dandy like basically ended up playing 3 position in this game. He's never been as farmed as PL or Darkseer. Well, Seneko has been caught by Omni Slash, and there's the gem again.
They are very liberal. Oh, Dundee thinking about killing someone, but they're just gonna glimpse him back. And actually, he pops his BKB. He throws out the ult on YOLO Warrior, and he's managing to get away. But will he be able to? If PL gets some eyes on him, they throw up. Oh, he gets the charge, and that'll be death. So, unfortunately, getting that, and now we see the Shivas coming out of Axmo. Goodbye, goddamn, and another gem. Did he just?
There's an attempt to like get a trade on the Rax's top lane, and might actually work. Yeah.
Oh gosh, did he actually just buy that gem though? Never mind, as you said, they're getting the Rax on top. They just got the melee Rax as well, so the range might even go down to the Necro creeps, and they BKB TP out. I think that's worth it, even though they lost, I'm pretty sure, another gem, but I have to check that.
I think that's an excellent trade. I mean, Juggernaut has Viper. Well, if Viper goes down, maybe now it swings the trade again, but...
Yeah, Viper, it looks like he should be able to TP out, and actually that was, of course, the gem from Seneko.
Same gem,
Seneko had picked it up, yeah, so it wasn't another gem. I was really confused, because I was like, your gem's only on cooldown for 5 minutes. There's no way you could have bought another one.
Yeah,
but
that's how Jug and Disruptor got caught in the first place, because they were picking off Seneko, and then it was the response to them, but then very, very intelligent from Beastmaster and Bane to recognize, well, if everyone's TP to react there, we can just get a quick set of Raxes, and like with all the action in this game, it's really kind of amusing that Raxes finally go down, and it's not with any action, just like split push.
Yeah, at the same time, if Shocklow is picked off here, they really need all of their heroes. They have to get this high ground defense, because I think HR is in a really good spot if they can keep their own sets of Raxes up, because as we talked about, maybe there's a pick off over here, and next time it's this Rax, because with Inner Beast, the passive from the Necronomicon units, I don't actually know what that passive is called. You're hitting really fast, but as we talk about hitting fast, DJ he is working on their tower. Not the fastest takedown, but he will get it. And they're turning out a little bit, but they've got a world of creeps. They have to do something here, I feel, for HR. The push coming in from top isn't going to be fast enough with just one hero.
It's that Aegis, and HR, like, if we commit enough to kill PL and only take down an Aegis, then we end up losing a fight, losing the game.
Oh, so, Undershock. He's going to be pulled backwards. They finally pop BKBs. I think it's time to turn around and use that Fiend's Grip, but there's too many units attacking him. And again, they're doing a lot. They're actually forced to TP back, though, because Shocklow's gotten himself inside the base. There's the Lich ulti, but still, I think that was just a tier 3. The Necronomicon units doing work in alt style, actually taking a huge amount of damage from that Lost Will. And Shocklow, he buys back, saying, you're not getting my Rax. They burnt the Aegis. They have to find the right one. Is Doppelganger on cooldown? It is. They're going to actually place a really far forwards connect field. DJ Ra is caught in it. Do they know which one is the real one? They have the stop on him. They use the Primal Roar. Axmo gets off a really nice vacuum, but of course doesn't have the wall up. And Dijiro, he's very low. I believe he's in the snowball. He's coming out, and they're gonna get the spin on him. Oh, he again, Doppelganger's away on a sliver of health. They glimpse him back. He's at sub 200 health, but they're not quite able to do it. YOLO Warrior goes in for it, gets actually the stun, but again, he wasn't quite able to do it. But while all of this is happening, the base is falling for Na'Vi. They've lost one tier 4, and I don't think that even though they wiped so many people for so many buybacks, they might not be able to take these racks here.
They even killed Beastmaster for a second time. That's a dieback for him, but there's just no one with mana or health to capitalize. So it's really interesting because in all the recent fights, it does feel like Na'Vi have the upper hand, but it seems as if HR might be able to take this game just with the rat. They not even need to win any fights anymore. It's a very close thing because obviously if Na'Vi wipe HR, it's not going to matter that they've lost 2 sides. They could just go straight for the throne. But I don't know. They've forced what 1-2 buybacks so far. So yeah, I guess the next fights it'll only really be Juggernaut who's buying back. So Na'Vi get a big fight. They could be okay.
Both Juggernaut and Disruptor have buyback, and I would almost say here, Seneko, there's bots level 2 coming in. It's gonna be hello Dichiro, but they already used the Walrus Punch, and then after BKB there's nothing to stop.
That's a big mistake by Seneko. I think that's definitely a kill if he saves it.
I agree, and that's also got to be painful emotionally, opening with the Walrus Punch and then realizing that they have a way out. So many people in this game have bots. We see YOLO Warrior going down bottom. Holy, I am impressed and disgusted by the rat play. Now, I actually really enjoy when teams do this type of thing. I think something I love about Dota is the fact that you can win team fights and still lose the game. Like, it's a very flexible game. The objective is always just get your opponent's Ancient down.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to win Dota 2 game.
So I really like this. Now, I do think they're in a precarious position, as you mentioned, for HR. They only have buybacks on Juggernaut and on Disruptor, albeit Na'Vi don't have a lot of buybacks either, but I feel like they're not in the position that they need them because these team fights have really not been going HR's way.
It looks like HR are just 5 years pushing the lane, gonna try and force the last 2 axes. There's an Abyssal Blade now on Juggernaut on the way on the courier.
They could just throw Monta Necronomicon creeps. I think that is enough to get at least the range racks down, of course having less armor and less health.
This is tense. This is really, really tense actually, because Na'Vi have the tools to take a big fight and then just like march down a lane and push. But HR definitely have the tools to finish off their axes, and Mega Creeps or something else. I don't know if Na'Vi went through that.
Phantom Lancer, while certainly a hero that can output a lot of damage, I agree with you. I feel like he's not a great wave clearer. And Na'Vi have headed over to mid. We have a TP coming back out from the Viper. Ninja may just be giving up his life. They're pushing in and Na'Vi are onto them. Na'Vi's like, we have your number. Choclo needs to get all the way out of there. Okay, I think that they're going to TP out. He actually throws up the Hawk. It's probably going to see these rotations. They're even using the Shiva's provision as well on Axmo. I would be so scared. Your heart is beating right up here, right? You're terrified. They're gonna find you and they're gonna kill you, and you don't have buyback.
The Shivas that revealed them, they ought to both be dead.
Yeah. And Disruptor does actually have buyback, but of course, Beastmaster used his recently. They know exactly where he is. Oh goodness, he's gonna go in on them. He's actually trying to kill off Alt Style. Not quite sure if that's the exact pick that they want, but they're buying time. Is he gonna TP out? Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. They get out.
The abuse of TPs this game by HR, like the number of times they've just TP'd out because there's nothing that can stop their TP. I mean, the Viper one wasn't even the first one, and now it's just happened again. Yeah. Navi's got to be really frustrated when they're just, that close to making big kills so many times, and it's actually a TP that stops you making a kill.
It's also something where I feel like HR, just because they have the Hawk, while Na'Vi we're seeing bots level 2 coming out on a number of people, they have always on HR got the easier rat play. Because they can Hawk in, or one of those creeps, and just bots to it. Whereas Na'Vi, yeah, they can do the same thing. You can always pick up a Helm of the Dominator, smoke a creep, get it in your opponent's face. It's just so much harder when you don't have an inbuilt one, right? So, yeah. Not a unit like a Hawk that turns invisible half the time.
So HR are pretty split at the moment. If Na'Vi were to actually just charge forward at that top lane, they could probably make some kills. I mean, people have been TPing out, but there's excellent Darks here. And I think if Darkseid and Lena and Peel are all together, that the target who gets hexed is definitely going to die.
Now let's actually do a quick look around at items because I feel like a lot of game has happened. The game has slowed down. We've got bots on Lich and a Vlad's. That's what this Lich is rocking. Seneko has a Blink Dagger and a Solar Crest. ND, they're looking again, they're searching, they're not going to quite find Undershock, but they might have his number. Axmo manages to get the vacuum, he immediately pops the BKB. Do they have a way to TP out? He would! Oh, but they're so close, he actually uses the Fiend's Grip. Can anybody touch him? Everybody's nightmare up. He's finally turned into a piggy because the BKB wears out and Undershock is taken out, but guess who's knocking on their front door? He's got the creeps there, and this damage onto the racks, it cannot be gotten rid of. Shacklo is going to fall. He needs to focus his creeps on the racks again after the glyph is down, but his creeps may have been destroyed by the Lich ulti bouncing. It doesn't actually get them, and they're gonna get quite a bit, almost killing off Seneko. That ranged Rax is down to a fourth of its life.
It must feel really good to NaVi, killing a hero who tries to TP out before they TP out.
Yeah. We were doing item roundup quickly. Dendi, I'm actually surprised Dendi hasn't gone for the sheep, as you mentioned. Oh gosh, are they just gonna finish up the racks with the illusions? I don't think they get this through. Oh, okay, it's now down to 230. I mean, what does this game become?
I don't know. This is
This is some Dota, eh? Glad we got you on this one. This is, by the way, this is the first time Scant and I have actually called it together. I think it's going absurdly smooth considering it's the first time. I have only been interrupting you a lot, not all the time. We actually have a blink forwards. There are bots coming in. There's going to be the blink away from the goddamn, but if they can catch him at all, they have a Yules. Lich has been taken out elsewhere, but none of the creeps are in the base, and I think goddamn is just forsaken his life. He does have buyback, and we have a lot of other heroes coming back up. That's a second gem. What's up?
Dendi and Ditcher are both. None of these heroes can TP back. They need to run. Oh, okay, nobody's actually looking for the back door right now.
Yeah, but that just buys them so much time. You mentioned it, nobody's looking for the back door, but while you definitely got the gem out of the Disruptor, it's almost a kill for nothing because you didn't force his buyback. You didn't make him, nobody else had to buy back, nobody had to TP back and defend. They can still keep pressuring up top with the Juggernaut, who's just getting more and more farm, by the way. He's perfectly content to farm your entire jungle and then top lane.
We haven't even seen Juggernaut make a pick-off yet with his Blink Abyssal, have we? Or did he just use that on Odd Style?
I thought he used it on creeps or whatever, but it could have been for the Odd Style earlier, but it feels like the cooldown is a bit, although Odd Style's only level 16, so maybe that adds up.
Because that's something we shouldn't forget about. I mean, HR are currently playing a style where we don't expect him to make pick-offs, but he can. There's a lot of heroes Juggernaut can solo kill if he finds them alone, blinks on them. I almost feel like Pure wants one of his own. I mean, he's finishing is he finishing a second Butterfly? That's his plan, yeah? Yeah, he is.
Auden, are you... Okay, so, that's... I believe it checks one for evasion and then the other.
Yeah, so they made the stacks
But you can flutter with one and not lose the evasion, right? Because you're not fluttering with the other one, or do they both get activated?
No. I think they'll both be deactivated. I'm pretty sure they will.
Because I know...
But it's for the agility and for the evasion.
Oh gosh, they're catching the Beastmaster and Shocklow. No way out. Slowly but surely, NaVi are getting the picks that they need. I am actually a little bit surprised the pings come out. I would think a ward up there would be something they'd go for, but now we have bots level 2 on Juggernaut. He's consumed a Moonshard. The rat is about to become real. And they're chasing Undershock across the map. Maybe Dendi gets this, but again, they've been drawn away. We can see that there is casually Illusions pushing up the wave. Roshan being taken by NaVi.
There was a stage in this game where, before they started going for these backdoor plays, where HR had 10,000 gold lead, and it swung back, and it's now 5,000 to NaVi, and I wonder, I mean, it's part of the strategy, throw yourself at buildings, but I feel like they're gonna kick themselves if NaVi turn this game around now, and I don't know, maybe it's difficult to say what was the other approach HR could take. Did they ever have an opportunity to just kind of 5 heroes run down and force those last Raxes? I'm not sure. The approach they've been taking, NaVi's been clawing their way back up. Now they've got another rush.
Oh, but they've caught out Dendi. They've got a nice static storm. The Laguna Blade comes out on Alpha Ninja, though, and he needs some help. Goddamn is there. Dendi's BKB is wearing out. He does have Blink in 1 second, so he should be fine. Juggernaut manages to pick off the Lich inside the base, and now I don't know where we should be looking. We've got Dichara. Seneko, actually, he's being Omni-Slashed. He's going to go down. Dichara is coming back in. Dendi ends up... Doxia kills off the Disruptor. Oh, gosh, get one more last hit. He actually pops his Manta to make sure, but now he's going to run right into Doxy. He blinks all the way over him, and they have gotten another tower or another Rax down. The tower is falling quickly because NaVi, they're completely out of base items to go for, and it looks like they're losing their tier 4s. The Necronomicon warrior pounding away at that, gonna start work on that ancient. The rat is working.
Yeah, and there's a lot of buybacks still up, so we're not even close to the position where we say, okay, NaVi win a fight, then they just go for it. There's a lot of heroes that have buybacks in this game.
poor on the lineup of HR, and Beastmaster is only 300 gold away from his. And NaVi, all of their lanes are pushed in, so I don't think, I mean, maybe they force a buyback on the Bane if they're very lucky. But
so this is what I wanted to say before PL went for his second butterfly. He's now got a bash. I think he's needed that for the longest time, actually longer than the Juggernaut. He really needs that Abyssal Blade because people keep TPing out in front of him, and also just like in terms of chasing capabilities. If the enemy team's trying to kill your Rax and you like pounding at them, like it's really nice to be able to bash them or Abyssal them. I think that if he finishes that item, that may be like the item that makes the game-changing difference here. But I'm not sure. It could just be too late.
yeah. It is something where I do actually think they have to, if NaVi can win 2 team fights, as you mentioned, because they have to contend with buybacks, they can just barrel down mid lane, bypass, since they already have the tier 3s, they can bypass that and go for tier 4s, especially if they win 2 team fights. What is this monstrosity of an effigy? I'm not even sure. Is that an Abaddon? I think that's an Abaddon, like, on its side. But if they can win 2 team fights and barrel down the mid lane, I do believe they can get the Rax, the tier 4s, and win the game. There should be enough time with how long buybacks timers are, especially when you include buybacks. But getting to that stage is rough. And look at these hero levels. Finally, everybody has level 3 in their ultimates. I mean, goodness gracious.
Like, how many heroes in this game have boots of travel level 2?
How many
There's
heroes
a
in this
lot.
game of Ags? It's like, how many heroes that are supports that really shouldn't have Ags? When was the last time Beastmaster bought a new item? That's what I want to know. What is his next rat item?
I don't know. I guess he just wants to save buyback if at all possible.
Yeah.
Because he's not getting that much gold. But Lich, wow, look at Artstyle's net worth compared to every other player in the game. It's just like dead last.
I feel like, DJ Raw maybe gonna think about going on YOLO Swag Warrior. Oh, they get the stun off and he's turned into a little bit of a piggy. He of course does have buyback. This is not how you want to die. And it's so near their base. He also had 600 gold saved up. I was actually really confused. He's been rocking phase boots and not buying out. And maybe now he'll wish he could, because what can he buy from base? I mean, maybe he could have gone for a Desolator to try and work on this Falster, but DJ Raw, he's going to be going. They haven't used the buyout yet, and they're actually trying to push out the lanes. I think he's waiting because he wants them to push out the lanes so that they can maybe get some more backdoor, get those mega creeps, but nothing is pushed out at all yet. And they have just evened up Rax in one lane, and they're going for more. Finally, the Juggernaut buys back. They lose the full set of racks. DJ Raw is still pounding away at all of that. Of course, he does have the Aegis as well, and he melts through them with double butterfly.
Now they win. Even if they concede megas, I think. If Juggernaut dies without buyback, I think.
No, you say this, but Juggernaut, he is going ham. They're going for that lost Rax. They're pounding away on it. They have all of the attack speed. The glyph has been popped. There's gonna be blinks around. The Bane has died. He's buying back in the bottom lane. We have a Laguna Blade coming out on YOLO Warrior, but finally they've got the glyph being fortified. I think that they've got this Rax for sure. Actually, he's going on Dendi. He manages to stun her out. Dendi's gonna have to buy back as well. Lena is down. They didn't lose the Rax in the bottom lane, and even though Beastmaster, I think, falls here, he's gonna be perfectly happy with that. Juggernaut also blunk away, left his Beastmaster for death, and they've got megas. They do have supers in one lane, but Navi's life just got so hard.
Yeah, it's...
And Beastmaster buys back. As you said, they're making sure that YOLO Warrior is going to be fine, and Axmo has overextended. He does have buyback, so it should be fine, but Axmo, not where he wanted to go down. DJ Raw, Axmo actually living on a slither of health. Thank you, Guardian Greaves. 20% health kicking in. Axmo is going to be the one that goes down, and they are TPing in more. But there are creeps in the base. Neko's got them.
Yeah, teams winning against megas is extremely, extremely rare. Doesn't happen a lot. I think it's possible here. I don't think the megas alone win. So if Navi kill important heroes and they don't have buyback, could do it. But
we're gonna see Seneko goes in for the Walrus Punch. Goddamn is here though. We've got a TP in. Can they kill the creep in time? But no, DJ Raw is here and he is gonna rip everybody apart. Then suddenly, goddamn, he's the one actually that's being focused on. We have a pause.
That is an awkward time for a pause.
Oh yeah, it is. Dandy says get ready to go, but I think goddamn is already on the deck. We need to look over at buyback status. And it is bad. Viper has the buyback, but nobody else. And while this is Mega's Juggernaut, he's trying to get that push in top. I think he'll just pop Monta and run away. He may be caught out of position here, and he, of course, also doesn't have buyback, so... Navi, I think, as you said, this could be one of the few games we get to see a team do well against Megas. And even if they don't, they still have another game to try it. Lich ultiing the creep wave.
Yeah, he's got nothing else to do with mega creeps. I mean, he barely deals with them even with his Chain Frost. I mean, the intelligent thing right now for HR is to actually just like slow down. They've been throwing themselves at Navi over and over and over, and Navi's gotten a huge gold advantage from being. I mean, Navi were 10k behind in gold, and I think not as much, but in XP, and now they're like 15k ahead in both.
Do you see where Shocklo? Oh no, Seneko! Wait, did I just see that right? Did Shocklo just smoke and then have it immediately broken by Seneko? I saw something weird on the screen. This is the strangest backdoor I've ever seen. I don't think he has enough damage to take down that Ancient. That's 4.2k health. No way.
Is he setting up for all his teammates to TP onto him?
The courier! Okay, it's nighttime. The courier won't see him. That's why I think he wanted to dust. Yeah,
his plan is to blink in and summon, and all his teammates TP onto him and the summons, and then they all backdoor together.
Yeah, and you can see the Boots of Travel are on cooldown for 8 more seconds. I almost clicked that. That would have been disastrous, but there's so many people in the base, and Navi actually has their own set of Necronomicons because it's that time of the year where the Darkseer already has his own Necro. They can't do this, and this is actually why it's fantastic that the Beast Monster is here. He's trying to make sure he sees all of the people being up here, but he just can't. They're losing Moonwells in bottom, though. Navi, they're having a lot of trouble dealing with it, and it doesn't feel like until they've got all of these creeps out that they can push in, and thank goodness you don't get abandons for being AFK for 5 minutes in these games.
It's very, very difficult for Navi right now, and HR really impressed me by, it looked like they were maybe, bashing their head against the door too many times, and as soon as they get the megas, they know they don't need to anymore, and they just slow down, because if they had kept running straight at Navi, that's the best chance they have of losing the game.
Okay, Artstyle has just blown the ult. 4 members of Navi are coming back. And also I wanted to point out that Artstyle has picked up a 62-minute bracer.
A 62-minute bracer. That's
you gotta do what you gotta do. Right? It's extra tank. This is... Okay, was Lena checking for something? Or was Dendi just casually getting more fiery souls up?
Yeah,
oh, they know that he's there!
What?
Oh my goodness, Shocklo, he's gonna manage to make it out. How did... I know Lena salved over there, but how did they know? Because I don't think they ice shards or anything.
I have no idea. But I love that Artstyle Observer Ward in the corner there.
I mean, they need it. They do need it, I agree. Okay, how does this game end? Let's...
It ends in 2.5 minutes when the Radiant heroes all have buybacks again, and then they just go and...
Really
they probably should be able to.
You really think they can take down the Ancient? Oh, goodness.
I think they could probably... The better play is probably to try and draw Navi to commit to a fight at one side of the map, and then... Wait, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Look at the Darkseer. You see, like... He's got, like, Hellfire following him around?
Yeah. Welcome to... We're 64 minutes into the game with a game involving a lot of particle effects.
This happens sometimes, but it doesn't usually happen this early. It usually takes like 2 hours.
I mean, oh goodness, we've got a Laguna Blade and I can hear it on the Viper. He was one of the few with buyback. It's happening this early because we've got a Darkseer, and I believe PL might also be helping to bug it out, and potentially the Hawk summons, because Valve does these assets really interestingly. Do we have like casual backdooring Necronomicons? Yeah, we do. They even put the armor on the Ancient. Oh, and Beastmaster just gets the TP off. I don't know what this means. I'm assuming they're talking about Pringles.
I think they're talking about the Darkseer.
Oh.
Because he's the first one who said he like put a face. I think they're talking about he's got like fire following him.
Oh, it even shows up in the other view. That is exciting. But yeah, I think he's got like the entire Dire Ancient following him. It's good stuff. This is what I like to see in my... This is not at all.
Sauron's Eye is watching him.
Yeah. So Juggernaut has gone back and purchased a 10-second BKB. While this is going to, sorry, no, like he never had one before. I'm not pulling a Lumi here. We're going to be seeing a team fight though. There's going to be a snowball onto that BKB unit. Can Undershock do enough here? But we're seeing the Omni Slash bouncing around. It hit on a lot of creeps. Viper buys back. What is the plan? Beastmaster is just going into the base. Everybody's 9-man up. Oh my goodness, that was ridiculous. And they're TPing back in. The BKB Aghanim Scepter doing what? They were all 9-man up.
That's a quad Beastmaster. He doesn't have buyback. He's definitely dead.
Shocklo is going to be down for a while, and while they catch him, they've still got megas to contend with.
Yeah, this is the... I mean, you have 3 enemies dead. None of them have buyback. But there's mega creeps, so... I don't know. Like... If there weren't mega creeps, I think Navi just win right now. It was just that one racks up, but...
And unfortunately for them, the buybacks are coming off of cooldown.
Do you see...
As we speak.
Do you see Doxia? Now he's got like light from heaven and bats following him around. And
Yeah, the bats are like an old Halloween asset or something. Good times. It's just
What's that?
Doxia things.
the light
Also-
from the sky and
Yeah, that's actually the Ancient. So look into the Dire Ancient. Like, when it explodes, that's what Doxia has above him, I'm pretty sure.
I see. That's that's.
Yeah, and then the Halloween bats are Dire Tide asset, I want to say, and then also sometimes he gets Jakiro fire following him. Macropire will be on the ground where he walks, which is, you know,
And what's
cute.
that like icy effect that follows him around?
The icy effect? I'm not quite sure. I have not what icy effect. That might just be Surge. Oh goodness, he's running in. He's thinking about going in. We've got Odd Style. Someone is TPing in onto Odd Style and YOLO Swag. He does have YOLO Warrior. I don't know if he's gonna get out of here. Is there enough damage? He does not manage to complete the TP. He does have a buyback,
Did
but none of the
Navi just
pre-plays are
win?
pushing out. I think Navi may, as you're saying, have just won. There's gonna be a vacuum wall back in. Juggernaut does buy back, but what is he gonna do against all 5 of them? And they're in their base with creeps. I think HR have just lost the game.
Summer snow on it.
Oh
Look at that
goodness,
Juggernaut,
Undershock,
he's like-
he's trying to do it, he's trying to buy the time, and Juggernaut, I don't know where he is, everybody's being slept. Axmo is also Nightmare, they've killed off Dendy, but Dendy immediately buys back Undershock, he has nothing left in the tank, and the tier 4s are going down, and Navi have done it, we're dropping items. Phantom Lancer, he's picked up a casual Sacred Relic, I feel
Oh,
like
that's Juggernaut.
it's gonna be the full Radiance, and Juggernaut, he is coming in, trying to see what he can do, he manages to kill off the dogs here, if they can kill this guy, they can get a lot out of it, but there are too many heroes, I don't think Juggernaut has anything left in the tank. They'd have to get some amazing stun off onto Dichiro. He goes actually on Dendy. He is working through. The Skull Basher has been called out, has dropped with the Radiant Ancient. It's falling. It's done.
Oh
GG.
my god. Oh my
We
god.
won't be going to a game 3. We will in fact just be staying a 2-0 for Navi over HL, but what a game to go out on. Navi defend against Mega Creeps. I don't know the percentages on that one. I feel like it's very few, to say the least.
It's low. It's less than 10% for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Aximo is probably the MVP for me of the entire